Up to date on what's going on down in Dallas with the Mavericks and everything surrounding that team. So joining us now, a man who must talk about it and write about it every single day from the Dallas Morning News, Mike Curtis. Mike, you are our first guest / anything that's ever worn a suit on this show, and we would like to say thank you.
We appreciate it.
I had a feeling I would be. I just wanted to make sure I was represent myself right.
I love it.
Way to keep it professional.
Well, it's making me feel like a total slacker, but that's fine. Talk to me about vibes down there. Obviously, we are far away reading about it, listening about it, but what's it like actually in Dallas?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting these days in Dallas. Obviously, given the expectations, this team was expected to contend for NBA championship again after coming off the finals last season. Obviously, that is not anywhere close near to happening again. I think the vibes are as good as they can be given the circumstances. I think this team, reality really set in when Kyrie Irving went down with that torn ACL. I think pretty much everyone knew at that point that this team probably wouldn't be competitive enough to make a run in the West. But it's just been injury after injury. You look at Kyrie, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, P.J. Washington, Dante Exum just suffered a broken hand. He started the year already hurt with the broken wrist. And then Olivier Maxence Prosper as well. So you just go down the entire roster and almost everyone has dealt with some type of injury.
I've never seen a team just have that much bad luck one after another. You mentioned P.J. Washington, and I have to imagine there was shock at first, then Kyrie gets hurt, and you just said the realization set in. Some guys are becoming vocal. P.J. Washington did a little bit of that on Sunday. What does it feel like when you're around the players? Like, are they starting to just have reached their limit?
They're not showing it if they are. I know when the Luka Doncic trade happened, obviously emotions were pretty fresh. We went in the locker room and we spoke to PJ, we spoke to Najee Marshall, and it looked like they were very emotional. Obviously, after losing a teammate that they've known for almost a season, since both of them are kind of new in Dallas. But still, you're losing one of the best players in the world. And that kind of dwindles your opportunity to win a championship. But then you're also getting one of the best in a guy like Anthony Davis, but he has to be on the floor in order for them to be effective. I think when we talk to the players, they're still courteous, they're still professional. But like you mentioned, P.J. Washington the other night, there were fans, or one fan in particular, that was screaming, "Fire Nico," while he was at the free throw line. He had to tell him to shut up. And he got asked about it afterwards, and he pretty much said, like, the entire team is sick and tired of hearing it, especially when the home team is at the free throw line. I understand if it's the opposing team, but you don't use an opportunity like that. I guess that's what they're saying. You don't use an opportunity like that to voice your displeasure.
Yeah. Mike, I wanted to ask you, Klay's dad, Michael Thompson, said that on air that his son was stuck in purgatory at this point. And with all the injuries, with everything that's going on, from your point of view, Klay being the number one vet right now, how has he been handling everything, and how has he been carrying himself with all of the injuries?
Yeah, he's been a professional. He's been in this league. It's his 14th season. He's seen a lot of different things, from being at the top of the mountain, winning 4 championships, to going through his own injury struggles. He's been able to stay relatively healthy this season, but I don't think this is kind of what he had in mind when he signed with the team in the offseason.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Obviously, yeah, you're going from a situation like you're playing next to a guy like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, and you're figured to be that third missing piece that they could have used that shooting in the NBA Finals last season. But he's doing what he can. He's getting the ball a little bit more often now that they don't really have any true creators. And Jason Kidd is kind of running plays for him. I think this is the opportunity that he thought he would be able to get that 5th championship. I know we talked to him earlier in the year just about his goals and what he still thinks he has left to contribute, but it's nothing like what he imagined when he got with the team in the offseason.
Yeah, and with everything going on, you guys did get some positive news yesterday. Jaden Hardy and AD were assigned to the G League affiliate down there. Do you have any update when these guys will be back in the lineup with the real team?
Yeah, no definitive update right now, but the fact that they went to the G League to get some practice time in, I mean, this team dressed 8 players for the last game. which means they haven't been able to practice much over the last month or so, just with all the injuries. So this was an opportunity for them to get some 5-on-5 time in. I'm sure you two pretty much know how that is due to your playing days. But when a guy is ramping up, you need that 5-on-5 time just to make sure that you're able to go in a full game. I know you can't simulate live action just like a real game, but it's as close as you can get given the circumstances. I think we'll see Hardy maybe likely before we see AD come back. They have a game against the Indiana Pacers tomorrow on the road, and then they'll be back home Friday night against the Pistons, who are playing really good basketball right now.
That bad luck thing, when we all saw the possibility that the Mavericks would have to forfeit perhaps some games because of injuries, that first of all, that's mind-blowing, and salary cap rules. These two guys being able to be now available for G League, does that kind of squash that, or is it still possible that that could happen?
No, I think this is exactly what they're trying to avoid. They don't have the bodies, and they need as many as they can get back, especially with their two-way contracts are about to expire. Kessler Edwards, who's been playing center for them, he's somewhere around 6'7", 6'8". He has 2 games left on his two-way, 2 games left of eligibility. Brandon Williams, he has 5 games left. So you lose a point guard, and you're probably going to get one back in Jaden Hardy. You lose one of your wings, and you might get Anthony Davis back. They just brought PJ back. So I think they're trying to prevent that from happening as much as possible.
Can you play, Mike? How tall are you? Like, how does this work?
Not unless you want to see the record for the most turnovers in the game.
Fair enough.
Mike, what's up, man? Danny Green here. I know I haven't got a chance to talk much. Pleasure to meet you. The Mavs sit currently at the 10th seed in the West. Is it that the goal to be in the play-in, or are they trying to, is it, around the organization thinking like we should just put some capital in the draft and try to be in the lottery? Is that more beneficial?
Yeah, I think it's a mixed feeling at this point. You got 13 games left. You're 1 game ahead of the Phoenix Suns for 10th place, and you're 2 games behind the Sacramento Kings for 9th place. So you're kind of stuck in that in-between ground, the final slot in the play-in tournament. But if you don't make the playoffs, you have a better chance of getting into that lottery. They need as many. They have their first-round pick for this year, but they don't have many in the future. So that would be a viable asset. But then even if you do make it into the playoffs, you're looking at, the 8th seed, and you're going against the Oklahoma City Thunder team who's fully healthy, and you're kind of depleted. Granted, this team did beat the Thunder 3 times this season. The only team in the NBA to do that. But at that point, you had a healthy Kyrie Irving.
And they had Luka
I'm not
too,
sure
correct?
about their chances. Yeah, I'm not sure about their chances in the first-round series against this team.
Oof.
Yeah.
And man, you talked about the future. For about 3 quarters, we felt like the Mavs had a championship roster when they paired AD up with Kyrie. Do you think they run it back next year with this same crew? You think everybody's coming back?
Yeah, I think, like Nico Harrison said, like his future is 3 to 4 years. I think this window that they have right now is the best opportunity for them to kind of compete for a championship. And you got to stay either as constructed or make some tweaks along the edges. I know in the offseason, this team is definitely going to need another point guard, another primary ball handler. You had something like that when you had Luka and Kyrie together, and you were able to get some relief when one was hurt because the other could kind of pick up the slack. But with Kyrie tearing his ACL, and he's probably going to be out maybe until All-Star break at least, if he takes that full time that he needs to kind of get healthy, you need somebody who can man the fort while he's out.
So no chance, in your opinion, the Mavs shop AD this offseason? You feel like you're confident that we're going to run this back and give it an opportunity?
I haven't been given that inclination, so I don't want to comment on that. But I think Nico has shown us that anything's possible in this league when you train a guy like that.
Yeah. We're only asking mostly hypotheticals in your opinion because we know you don't know everything. But hypothetically, do you think they hope Kyrie opts into his contract this year, or are they trying to extend him? Like, what do you think the goal is with Kai with that ACL tear? Are they going to try to hope that he just opts in and keep him for a year, or are they going to try to do a longer deal with him?
I think the goal is to keep Kyrie in Dallas as long as they can. And I think before the injury, he was definitely on track for a max extension. And I think that's still the case. Even Nico came out with a statement after it was confirmed that Kyrie tore his ACL, and he called him the heart and soul of this team. I don't think you just want to have a guy for a year and risk him leaving, not leaving again, but risk him leaving in free agency the year after. So I think they want to lock him down as soon as they can.
April 9th, everybody circled it the minute this trade happened. Luka back in Dallas. Any ideas? What's planned? What's that going to feel like?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the most anticipated games since LeBron James went back to Cleveland for the first time. Obviously, the circumstances are different. It wasn't Luka's choice to leave. He ended up getting traded in the middle of the night, but I think the Mavericks are going to have something special planned for him. I mean, when a guy has given you everything of his career for the last almost 7 years, and he took you to the NBA Finals, I think you got to have something more planned for him than just a tribute video that every star player typically gets. I think they got to roll out the red carpet for him, if you will.
Now.
Move it. By the way, Mike, I've been a part of some weird seasons with some teams before. How are you doing? Because I know you start the season, everyone's excited and happy, and then craziness goes. Are you good? How are we doing?
I'm good. I'm doing the best I can. It's crazy. I got here back in April before they went on their playoff run.
Perfect.
And I was covering the Detroit Pistons last season. And, you know, they didn't have much success last year. They went through that 28-game losing streak. So at this point, I'm used to covering chaos.
Dang, Mike, that's a crazy turn from the Dallas Morning News. We appreciate the time and the suit. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
We'll take a quick break. More Run It Back.